Picture this for a second. You're sitting in a room and you hear a simple, rhythmic tapping sound. For one person, that gentle rhythm is basically a soothing lullaby. It relaxes them right to sleep. But for another person sitting in that exact same room, that exact same tapping sound sends them into an absolute fit of rage or maybe gives them this overwhelming urge to just run away, right? Why on earth is that? Well, welcome to today's explainer on the sound sensitivity spectrum. We're going to take a really fascinating look at how our nervous systems process the sounds around us.
Because it is a massive spectrum. On one end, we've got pleasant tingles and deep relaxation, which most of us know as ASMR. But then, on the exact opposite end of things, the ordinary sound of just, say, dishes clinking in the kitchen could trigger severe, radiating physical pain. That condition is known as hyperacusis. This huge gap in how humans experience sound is exactly why we need a clear, reliable map of the whole sensitivity spectrum. Because sound sensitivity, it's definitely not just one single thing.
All right, so here is the game plan for this explainer. We're going to start by mapping out the sound sensitivity landscape. Then we'll break down 5 distinct sound responses. After that, we'll run through some absolutely essential self-check questions. And finally, we'll help you map your results to the right support path. Let's get into it.
Part 1. Mapping the spectrum. Let's lay down the foundation for how we actually categorize all these different nervous system reactions. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is simple, but it's so important. Sound sensitivity is not one thing. If you've ever felt like your reaction to ordinary, everyday noises is strange or maybe isolating, I want to validate that experience for you right now. These reactions are distinct, they are highly real, and they're grounded entirely in your unique biology, your memory, your attention, and your context. It's like a giant, complex puzzle of nervous system reactions, not some single biological flaw. Moving on to part 2, identifying the reaction, we're going to break down 5 distinct responses by looking at what sound actually does to your body in real time. So there are 5 main players on the spectrum. ASMR is our pleasant end. It brings calm and these sensory emotional tingles when you hear soft voices or things like that. Misophonia, which is right below it, is totally different. It's characterized by intense emotional triggers, usually anger or disgust. Then you have hyperacusis, which is deeply physical. The core mechanism there is actual pain and discomfort from loudness. Phonophobia is rooted in fear and avoidance, basically treating sound as a literal threat. And finally, we have general noise sensitivity, which just causes broader stress and distraction from unpredictable background noise. Think, really loud traffic. Let's zoom in on a couple of these, starting with misophonia. According to a 2022 clinical study by Swedo and her team, this is defined as a decreased tolerance to specific trigger sounds or the stimuli associated with them. Think about someone chewing, sniffing, heavy breathing, or even just typing on a keyboard. And the truly wild part, the trigger doesn't even have to be loud. The sound itself creates this sudden, intense urgency to just escape, and it's driven almost entirely by anger, disgust, or really severe anxiety. Now contrast that with hyperacusis. Based on NHS guidance, hyperacusis is fundamentally about volume. This is a condition where everyday sounds seem much, much louder than they should. So even when everyone else around you is tolerating a sound perfectly fine, for someone with hyperacusis, a dog barking or a door shutting can cause severe loudness discomfort. We're talking acute physical pain here. Quick heads up though, it's incredibly important to remember that these categories aren't just neat little isolated boxes. They overlap all the time. A person could absolutely experience hyperacusis and misophonia simultaneously. Or, you might love the gentle tingles of ASMR to help you fall asleep, but literally want to scream when you hear someone chewing their lunch. Oh, and please remember, this explainer is a navigational tool. Online self-labeling is a fantastic starting point for figuring yourself out, but it is definitely not a substitute for a real medical diagnosis. All right, part 3, this brings us to the real core focus of today's explainer, auditing your nervous system. Let's run through some essential self-check questions to figure out where you sit on this map. Here's question number 1, and it's probably the most revealing. When you're exposed to a specific sound trigger, what is your core physical and emotional feeling? Is it pleasant and calming? Does it spark intense, fiery anger? Is it literal physical pain in your ears, or is it a deep-seated fear? Categorizing that primary internal feeling is your very first major clue to understanding what your nervous system is up to. Question 2 builds right on that.
Ask yourself about the actual root cause of the trigger. Is your reaction caused by the sheer raw volume of the sound, like we see in hyperacusis? Is it the meaning or the repetitive pattern of the sound, like human chewing, that drives misophonia? Or is it simply the unpredictability of, say, a chaotic office environment that's stressing you out?
Question 3. Let's evaluate the breadth of your sensitivity. Think carefully about this one. Does this overwhelming reaction happen with virtually all sounds across the board? If it does, that might point towards something broad, like hyperacusis or general noise sensitivity. But if it's highly specific, like only when someone clicks a pen, that leans heavily toward misophonia.
And finally, question 4. Does this sensitivity actively disrupt your daily life, your sleep, or your relationships? This is where the rubber meets the road, folks. If the answer here is yes, it's a clear, undeniable signal from your body that it's time to seek qualified clinical help to manage it. Which leads us perfectly into section 4, choosing your support path. Because understanding your specific category from those self-check questions is absolutely critical. Let me tell you, the coping tools are night and day depending on what you're dealing with. Look at this. If your experience is ASMR, your path is just intentionally choosing safe triggers to help you sleep or study. Easy. But if you have misophonia, your path involves strategically reducing exposure and, quite frankly, having some tough conversations to communicate your boundaries to friends and family. For hyperacusis, medical or audiology guidance is a must. And for phonophobia, it's all about careful, gradual safety building. You treat the fear gently, you definitely don't just jump into sudden, overwhelming exposure. Choosing the wrong path here can actually backfire big time. Hyperacusis is a prime example. If you try to manage a loudness discomfort by overprotecting your ears, like if you just wear earplugs 24/7 to block out all sound, you can actually make your sound tolerance worse over time. But on the flip side, just gritting your teeth and pushing through physical pain is incredibly unwise and damaging too. It's a delicate balance, and it's exactly why getting professional clinical guidance is so vital.
So let's summarize the actionable steps you can take today to start safely managing your sound sensitivity. Step 1. Understand your specific category using those self-check questions we just went over. Step 2. As a general rule of thumb, use a lower volume when you control the audio and avoid genuinely painful sounds. And step 3, if your daily life is disrupted, don't wait. Seek proper hearing or clinical support.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought. Sound can soothe. Sound can irritate. Sound can hurt. Sound can frighten. Ultimately, the nervous system decides. Remember, sound itself is totally neutral. It's literally just physical vibrations moving through the air. But your unique biology, your past memories, and your focused attention, those are what ultimately decide its impact on your body. So I've got to ask, which category fits your personal sound experience best? Are you team ASMR? Are you dealing with misophonia, hyperacusis, phonophobia, or just general noise sensitivity? Identifying your specific place on this map is step number 1 toward finding the right support and basically reclaiming your peace of mind. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring all the amazing and sometimes wild ways your body